Well, it's another maintenance item on the Gladiator, and you know, I'm just shy of 150K on this truck. It's a Jeep, and Jeeps are kind of known for having a few electrical problems. So one of my electrical problems is this: nothing happens. Nothing happens. So we'll go over to the other side, just, so you can see what happens. You push this button and it locks your truck. And it unlocks your truck. Locks your truck. Unlocks your truck. Locks your truck. We go over to the other side and doesn't unlock your truck. Kind of a bummer. So it's these have little proximity sensors in them, and with those proximity sensors you get a massive amount of convenience because you don't have to fish in your pocket for your keys to unlock the vehicle. You just touch the handle. And it's these modern day conveniences that make us love our vehicles even more. Because, we've evolved through the concept of the path of least resistance. And one of the things that makes Jeeps unique from all the other vehicles out there is, yes, it's still dirty from Easter Jeep Safari. I'm working on that. And of course, it just started raining. Oh man, can I ever get this thing done? So one of the things that makes Jeeps such a cool product is the fact that their doors come off and their tops come off and all of that stuff comes off, which means that they really have to engineer a way to make the electrical harness pretty durable for being able to take the door on and off, on and off, on and off. And so it has been pretty durable, but that's the door that I open the most. And because it's raining, I'm gonna go walk over here. Hey, check that out. I got a new drill press. It's a classic Craftsman. I can't wait to tear into this little miniature project and get that guy going. Sidebar, sorry. Focus. So back to where I was at, and you can see it's, big heavy raindrops. Here comes the rain. Really want to get this project done. So modern conveniences, 150,000 miles on this truck, and I am going to replace the harness. Let's see if I can get that part number in the shop for you. There we go. That is the door harness. And a few other people on the interwebs have experienced this problem, and they all say this fixes it, because I hope I don't have to replace the door handle. But it's actually pretty straightforward. Hold on, is it still dropping big drops? No, okay. That was just a fleeting moment. Anyways, so with that means I gotta pull this panel off. Okay, gotta pull the panel off, replace the harness. Okay, it's actually not that difficult. There's a few, you gotta pop this guy out here. This got to get popped out, and then I don't remember. Oh yeah, there's one guy down here, and then it's just pull tabs and pop the panel off. You just pop, and up comes the panel, and then I've got to replace the harness. So I really want to do this, but I really don't want to get rained on, and it's supposed to be raining. So I guess I'm gonna have to shelve this until a better time when there's less rain. Oh man, I really, really need to get this done. That is driving me nuts, but it's gonna rain all weekend. I thought I had a moment, but I don't, because I don't want to get rained on. So maybe I'll fiddle with this today. I don't know. It's my 15-year anniversary with my wife. I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm trying not to tackle too much in the garage today, because we got plans for this evening. But Yeah, you know, the Jeep life. There's always something to work on, right? There's always something to work on. Always something to work on. All right. I'm going to end this little portion of this video here because I will come back to this, and when I edit them all in together, this will all make sense. All right, so it appears that the weather is taking a chill pill, and maybe we'll get this done today. So I've got a pick, I've got a T30, and I got to get this panel off. So first we got to get this guy off, and this one has a little tiny hook right up at the very top of it that is designed just specifically, not a hook, sorry, little tiny indent. I don't know if you can see that right there, but this little guy, and your pick fits just right in there. So you pop that out, and you've got a T30 right in here, and you got a T30 right here. And then we got to use some trim panel clips that go around. And I have already had this panel off this truck once already, because I did this, I don't even know the name, unofficial use only is the name of the brand for this door pocket setup here. And let's get that stuff out of the way. Tire deflators. I always keep them. It's a good idea. Although the truth is, I usually just use my Morflate to deflate my tires, because I still got to put stuff on the valves, and if I'm going to do that with the Morflate, I guarantee that they're all the same pressure. Those deflators are handy to have, but they're not that great. So I've already had this door panel off to do this unofficial use only upgrade to get rid of those factory nets. Those factory nets suck. I hate them. But in that process, I almost stripped one of these bolts here because it was, I think they must use Loctite or something on these guys, because, you know, nobody wants rattles or anything in their doors, but, and yes, they use a Loctite of some kind. You can see it there on the threads. If I can see it on the threads, maybe it'll focus enough to get that. But so when I went to the dealership to buy more of these bolts, they wouldn't sell me one. I had to buy a pack of 30, I think, which was insane. I paid a lot of money just for one bolt. But maybe that's just my dealership experience with one of the dealerships that I go to for parts, because I go to several different dealerships for parts. Let's see. We got these two here, and these ones were, oh look, an Ineos Grenadier. Somebody just bought one. Nice. There's always something interesting happening in my neighborhood. Yeah, these guys are really, they're pretty tight. But let's get these off. So anyways, with this harness, I mean, I don't know, I've never replaced this harness, and you can see these bolts, you can see like the thread lock is actually kind of gotten pasty and it's peeling off. But you can see the threads. There's a lot of torque on these for some reason. I don't know why there's so much torque on door panel bolts, but you know, who knows? Maybe it's a Jeep thing. I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna get this off here. It's just too much torque for a panel bolt. Goodness. All right, so some people roll down their windows to get this done. I've been really hesitant to roll down the window because of the weather that we're having, but that's probably a good idea. Let's go ahead and roll this window down. And, oh yes, 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 yes. Your key fob is right here. Here you go, key. Windows down. Truck is back off. And as you can see, or maybe you can see I still got a lot of Moab left on this truck that I'm gonna have to take off. So, did I get all the bolts? I think it's only those. There's 2 here, 1 here, and then it's just popping this panel. So, yeah. Oh, that's right. There's screws down here. But these guys don't really matter because, yeah, they don't matter the way you think they do. This one, that last one right there, always. So we got that. Now we wiggle up. Come on, wiggle up. Wiggle up. There we go. That didn't actually pop all the way out. Okay, so that was pretty straightforward, yeah? So now we have to replace this harness. So replacing the harness means that I think what we need to do here, let's get the camera in here. And let's see, so we got to undo this clip, and then we got to undo these off the door handle. I don't know if, yeah, you can see that. Get these guys off the door handle. These are really easy, actually. You just tension, slip, pull out, tension, slip, pull out, and then these kind of pop right out of their joints. Get this off. Don't forget the red safety piece there. I actually really hate these connectors. I think they're a really poor idea in my opinion, but so I'll get those off, and then I'll show you. We've got to take this inner panel out. This whole inner panel needs to come out. Let me see if I can set this down without making it fall over. Is that better? I don't know if that's better. Yeah, there we go. So, and then we get this whole panel off, and in that process, we'll end up replacing this harness. So don't forget, pull this out. Again, you got to do your safety clip on this. You pull it up, and then come on, it's up, lift, click. Let's get this here. This is off. All right, so that's off. We're gonna have to take this footman loop out so that we can remove the entire harness, more Moab, and getting these clips, getting the harness out of these clips. I don't know if the new harness comes with these or not, but we're gonna check that out here in a minute. Right, so here's the bag with the harness in it. Don't know if you can see that part number, but it is 682990. Oh, sorry, 68299333 Alpha Henry -001. Now this works on a 2021 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon diesel. This may not be the part number for your Jeep, only because trim level. So let's see. Does it have, it appears to have all the clips that we need that go into this panel. So let me just double verify. This is surprisingly well packaged. Kind of surprised by how good this is. But here's the entire harness, and yes, it's got all the little different clips on it that need to be there so that it can locate in all the right spots. So now I have full faith that I can just pop all of those out. So with that, now I know I need a door trim panel popping tool, which I'll go grab from the toolbox, and maybe I'm not sure, that looks bigger than a 10, so maybe that's a 13. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. But this whole thing's got to come out. I get this all out. I'm not sure what size the footman loop is. Oh, well, it's a T30, so let's get this out of the way. And you can tell this has never been off the door. Wow, that is a very long bolt for what it is. That's surprising. Yep. All right, both of them gotta come off. Nope, just loosen one and I can undo it this way. Right? I can undo it this way. Right. Yep, there we go. All right. So let me go get that panel tool. Let's get this off and get all this unpopped. Looks like the harness does come up in and connect to my mirror. So let's get to that part. All right, I promised myself I was going to try and record as much of this as possible. So I've already popped this one out. This is the panel tool that I'm using. You just got to get in and under and pop these out. Interesting. Ooh. This one goes into the panel, so I will have to remove the panel. Very interesting. I love these ports for access to probably window regulator bolts. Like, this is really well thought out, and I was totally wrong. It's a 10mm. Why am I missing a bolt? How many bolts do I have? I have 3 bolts. I was missing a bolt. How am I missing a bolt? I've never had this panel off before. How am I missing a bolt? That's wild. Anyways, all right. Okay, let's see what we're working with here. Okay, so I don't actually have to. Got it. I don't have to do that one. This one just unplugs, but I do have to get to this one. So, and I've got to unplug it here. So this one, push in and then pull out. Okay. So this guy, this little red tab, you gotta push it down to be able to squeeze it and activate it. grommet on it. It has the same grommet, which has this harness here, which we have not gotten to yet. We have not gotten to this piece yet, so we got to get this through here. So let's see, how do we get to that guy? Feels like there's still something keeping it in place here. That I can see or feel. Wild. I think this harness right here goes to the door lock actuator. I cannot figure out how this comes off, so feels like there's still hardware holding it in, but I don't know what that is. I'm willing to bet that there's some kind of push pin or clip that needs to pop, but at the same time I don't want to force it. So give me a second, I'm going to look at a diagram. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at a diagram. Okay, it's a new day. This storm has been pretty prolific, truthfully. And I did do some YouTube University research last night. So come to find out, this whole huge panel is actually the regulator. I had no idea. That's kind of cool, truthfully. Kind of cool. So a lot of people, you gotta lower, you gotta, lower the window down, peep through here, get to the bolts, unbolt the actual window, separate the window off the clips, tape the window up, unbolt the motor, and then it all kind of comes off. That's great. I don't want to do that. But there are other steps that need to happen. So you see these two little taped areas. I think this was a T25. I don't remember because I took it off yesterday. But this is the last piece of the harness. This is the tail end of the harness that I need right here. And then the door lock actuator, I assume, is attached to the door lock. So I'm going to peel this one down and pop the lock assembly off. I've already popped the door handle off. If you need to learn how to do that, it's pretty straightforward. Loosen this Torx bolt out. It won't come all the way out. It's captured, so it stays. Once you've kind of turned it all the way, it starts to get hard, so you know that you've loosened it all the way. And you pull this piece straight out, and then you take the handle and slide, and it comes right out. But you need to disconnect this. And this is my problem. Is that piece of the harness, the proximity sensor, is not functioning correctly. So I really don't want to have to remove the glass. I am going to try and take this off here. This is the actual lock assembly. So if I take the cylinder out and then the assembly loose, or remove these bolts and then allow it to be loose, maybe I can slide this up enough to get at the clip, because I cannot get the clip. I actually pulled this rubber off of the clip while I was trying to undo it. That came off. Anyways, I can't get that sucker off, and it's a pain. So if I have to take the glass out to get the regulator out, to actually get at the component here, because the biggest problem here is actually unclipping this part of the harness. This won't unclip. I cannot get this safety latch to separate this little guy right here. I can't get that to separate inside the door. There's just not a whole lot of room to get it done. And it's hard to get a flashlight in there to see, and yada, 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 yada. So I'm going to try and see if doing it by removing the lock cylinder and then the door lock assembly gives me enough space to be able to undo that clip. And if that does, that's awesome. And then I can see if I can't fish out the rest of the harness over there. So we're going to attempt that. I'm going to set up the little stand and put the phone on it and record some more, and maybe you'll hear me cuss. I don't know. We'll see. This has been an interesting project. It was a lot more complex than I originally assumed it was. So keep that in mind. But at the end of the video, I'll kind of go through all the different tools that I actually used on the project, and give you my thoughts and feelings on this. So far, if I had done better research and understood, I probably wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now. So hopefully this ends up helping somebody else. All right, so it's a T30 for these guys here. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, you know what? Actually, I should do this one first. This should be a T25 because I recall this one was a T25. So let's get that guy. I've already got a mess of tools sitting there. And this one's pretty straightforward. You just kind of grab the tape and peel it down. There we go. And I want this tape to stay, so I'm just peeling it back. You may not be able to actually see from that camera angle exactly what I'm doing here, but here we go. I didn't realize this job was going to be basically a full door removal, like a complete disassembly. And I feel like it would actually go a lot better if I had removed the door. And oh wow, that is super simple. Let me bring you around here, so maybe you aren't able to see what I was talking about. But these are the two holes here. This is for the door handle. This is for the lock assembly. Once you undo this, here's your lock assembly. It just pulls straight out. Literally just pulls straight out. So it's that easy on this job. So okay. There's a little rubber grommet here as like a weather strip. I just take a look at it and make sure it looks all right. And then these guys right here are they're a T30. So ooh, hear that crack in the seal, basically. Probably the paint was still curing when this was run in. Okay, here's my hardware. And let's see if I can, I'm probably blocking the camera. Let me see if I can re-angle this here. Let's see. All right. So a pick doesn't seem to be doing a good enough job to pull this piece of the harness. The pick just doesn't seem to be able to do this job. Even though it should be, like, if I clip, wow. Wow, that is super stiff. All right, I'm gonna try a little trick that I know. Give me just 1 second, hold on. All right, so this stuff is made by Robo Bubble. It's called OE Clean, and it's like a foaming interior cleaner. Like interior trim cleaner, it actually kind of softens the plastic ever so slightly. So I'm gonna give that a shot and see if I can't, I don't know if I can get this in there to be able to do it. Let's see. There we go. Just barely fit it in there. So I'm gonna give that a minute or two. Again, Robo Bubble. This stuff is awesome. All right, now instead of using my pick, I've got a little flat blade screwdriver that I'm gonna give a shot here. Let's see if I can get that to work. The problem is that I'm flying blind the whole time. All because I just don't want to do the work to remove the regulator. Oh, man, I'm so close. There's just not a whole lot of room to work with here. Come on. Oh man, that is just eating up my arm. Okay. All right, we're gonna take the glass out, take the regulator out. I think that's probably the best way. Okay, so again, these guys, harness is reconnected for the door to drop the glass. And then we've got to drop the glass enough to be able to gain access to these two bolts here. These two bolts are what bolt the glass to the regulator itself. And inside here, let's see if I can show inside. Inside here, you've got the white and the blue. And so once you unbolt these two bolts, then you got to gently pry up on these to be able to remove the glass. And of course, it has started raining again. I'm just gonna work through the rain. I'm sick of this. I gotta get this done. I gotta get this truck back together and ready for work tomorrow. So I gotta undo these two bolts and then pry these up just a little bit. And a good thing to use is like a trim tool or something. And those remove the glass from the plastic piece of the regulator. There's a rod that goes up and down on the other side of this. So we're gonna undo these two bolts. We're gonna pop the glass off. We're going to then take the glass, pull it up, and tape it so it doesn't drop. And then we're gonna pull everything off. But you know, it's raining again, so yay. And actually, there's a nice big fat dark cloud there, and everything's gonna get wet. All right, it's raining. Nothing I can do about it. So I've already, these are 10 millimeter, just like all the surrounds there. I've got this guy right here, so you just kind of want to gently pry up on this and get it off the regulator. And then we just lift this guy up and tape it in place. So I got to do that, but of course it's raining, so I got to dry and all of that stuff. Yay, rain. All right, hopefully that tape holds. We'll see. So we've got that off, right? And look at the difference. That's all I needed. That is literally all I needed. And now I can attempt to get this guy. I can see it way better. Everything is a ton better. So let's see here. Okay. It's like it's taunting me. Let's see. So I have a specialty electrical connector pair of pliers. These guys. I don't know if these will work, but I'm gonna try. Oh, oh, oh. That is falling. I can hear it. Stay, buddy. Stay. There's no way to there's no purchase on the bottom of this. It's too tight in where it's at. Why is it always these connectors that give me such a hard time? It's these freaking Jeep connectors. Ah, got it. Hopefully I didn't just slice my thumb. But, all right. Okay. So we got to pull the harness through here, and then it's got these like C-clips that hold it in place. But it's really difficult to get them harness out. There we go. And not sure, like, Jesus. I'm gonna impale myself here. But it's this whole plastic handle inside that it's all wrapped up in. This is really difficult to get out. Like, really difficult to get out. I believe something just fell. What just fell? Oh, look at that. Factory sound deadening. Nothing just fell. All right. I can see Moab has left its mark on the inside of my door. So I got to find a way to get this huge plastic housing out, because that's the only way. That's the only way that I'm getting this harness out, because of the way it's intertwined in with the plastic housing. I'm not sure if you can see from that angle, but this door harness is no joke. Okay. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get the new harness in without taking this black plastic thing out. So let me take a look at this side. Okay, there's a screw here. Let's take that out. I think it's a T25 on this side. That's a T30. Just so I can show you. This guy right here, I don't see any hardware there. So I'm not sure about that, but let's take that out. Well, that was it. It's actually really, really easy. The whole thing just comes right out. And now I know why I couldn't get it out. Wow. Okay. All right, well, the harness is actually out. That's fantastic. So we're going to undo the harness all the way. All right, I'm gonna set this down for a second so that I can pull the harness through. And hallelujah, the harness is out. So this better fix my problem, because this was a hell of a job. And supposedly it's the harness itself is just kind of gets worn, and from being pulled in and out, taking the doors on and off, that the harness itself suffers some damage, and that there's wires that'll get frayed or whatever and disconnect. So that's gone. Yay. Now I got to put the other harness back in, and I'm going to go ahead and wipe this down a little bit in here, because there's a lot of Moab inside. A lot. Yeah. But it's nice to see that that there is some factory sound deadening in the door. I didn't realize that there was factory sound deadening in the door. That makes me a little bit happier. I was thinking about having to do, you know, like some Dynamat or something like that to help with sound, but the honest truth is I don't need it. Plus, these are aluminum doors. The whole point of this is to be lightweight and everything. So, all right. So I'm gonna pop the harness back in and try and get everything reassembled. Just so you know, for this assembly here, you just loosen this bolt. That's all you got to do is loosen it, and it slides over, and the entire assembly comes out, which is great because that was difficult. So I'm gonna set that back down. I'm gonna get the other harness ready. My hands are kind of dirty, and I'll do that off camera. That's easy enough. Right, so we moved to a different work table. Ha 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 ha. And this is the back side of everything. Yes, I used a little bit of that to make sure everything's good. So this is the back side of the panel. Of course, this is where your glass bolts in. This is your regulator going up and down. These clips hold this panel onto the door itself. That's what kind of clips it and locks this panel in place. But once you undo this, you know, the whole thing just comes right out after you take, you undo, which side is it? Oh, right here. You just thread this out. That's all you got to do is thread this out and then push it over, and the whole assembly kind of falls in, and then this all comes out as one piece. You can see the door lock actuator arms are here. And so this is where the harness comes through the panel with the grommet, right? It comes up through here. And if you can see right in here where my finger is, that's where the door lock actuator clicks in. And if you look at the harness, it kind of, this comes around and it goes through this pathway. There's like a lock-in plastic groove that's designed for the harness itself. The harness wraps around. You can see that there's a little clip there, a little clip there. This clip, I think I accidentally broke. And then this guy right here. So I'm probably just gonna, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I actually need that there. But the reason why these little guys are in place is because this whole plastic piece here goes right up against the inside of your door panel. So you can't have anything kind of in the way protruding. So when we take this whole assembly, we're just going to kind of flop it and put it back in place. And then I'm going to, I'll get this in place. I'll get this in place. I'll bolt these down, and then I'll drop the window down and bolt that in place. And start connecting everything. It's actually way easier than I thought it was last night when I was up against a wall, because I didn't know that the easiest part of this process was this whole thing is the actual window regulator. I did not know that. You know, I've never worked on one of these in this capacity here. So a little YouTube University showed me what I needed to know, and it's time to kind of get this all back in place. You can see this has some connections here. I believe that over here at the door, there's nothing really there for them to connect to. So we'll see when we get it in. And now you can see this is the underside of the glass. These are the clips that go onto the regulator itself. This is that factory door sound matting. I'm surprised by that. I'm really happy with that. So I'll bring that over here. I'll get the phone back in its little mount so that I can start recording again. This is going to be a long video. All right, here we go. So now we need these components in and kind of up in their place. So first things first, we're going to work on that aspect. And this guy goes in through there. So let's do that. Set this up here, or just set it in place for right now. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to get this set. Hold on somehow, some way. Let's get this And we're gonna bolt this guy down. Here, I'm gonna flip you around so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the harness. You can see that's all we need to do. We need to tighten that down. And I believe that is a T25. So we're gonna go ahead and it's all the way over where it needs to be. We're just gonna tighten that guy down. I don't want to over torque that, so I'll just, that seems pretty good. So, all right, back at this part. Okay, so the lock backing plate is in place. The next thing we need to do is we need to get the actual lock assembly in place and bolt it down now too. So that's next. That should be relatively simple. However, I got hardware and all kinds of things all over the place. There we go. Just need it. Just need a thread. One, get my tool, and get these guys in. These are a T30, so yeah, we're still two. There we go. So I'm gonna talk my way through some of this stuff, and that's all right. I hope you're listening. Now, I am part of a Jeep Gladiator online forum. I think it's literally Jeep Gladiator Forum .net or whatever that is, and I was searching around trying to figure out, well, you know, what is going on? Why is this happening? You know, what's the common problems that this is? You know, and in doing so, you know, I got a few responses of, oh well, you know, it's this problem, and there we go. I'm just gonna run a bolt in to hold this in place real quick. It's this problem, and you know, it's actually pretty simple to do. That's what I read online. It's pretty simple to do. Okay. Pretty simple to do for who? Simple to do for a dealership service tech. Simple to do for somebody who's had decades of wrenching on something, or simple to do for your average automobile owner who is competent enough to do their own oil change and like super basic maintenance. So this is actually simple to do for the person who can do their own basic maintenance. However, it really helps having common knowledge of more intricate parts of a vehicle than just changing oil and changing air filters and things. But with YouTube University and videos like this, that can open the door to somebody who says, hey, you know, I think I can actually do this. And you can actually do this. This is not difficult. I struggled only because I was not familiar with the armature of this panel actually being the door regulator. I've never run into that, but I've also never had to do this on anything newer than, oh Jesus. I mean, even my Tacoma wasn't built like this. Yeah, like my 2015 TRD Pro Tacoma. was not constructed like this. It was built differently. So I am surprised by the engineering of this. Actually, happy about the engineering. This is actually really, really simple. Once you understand what it is, it's super blinking simple, like super simple. So last night, after being frustrated why I couldn't get my hands in there and all of that gobbledygook, I went on YouTube University, and there is nobody showing what I have done. Nobody's shown that. They've shown other basic simple things, and I kind of put two and two together and figured out what I needed to do. I was hoping I didn't have to, disassemble the glass from the regulator and all of that, hoping that I would have enough room, but that's actually not the case. You really do need to separate the glass from the regulator, window regulator, and be able to pull the window regulator out to be able to remove those components, to be able to unwind, so to speak, the harness from the door assembly, or the door lock assembly, the back side of the door lock assembly. And you really do need to go through all these steps to remove it. But if you understand the steps, it's actually really just going 1, 2, 3, 4, disconnect this, unbolt this, disconnect this, unbolt this, unloom this, reloom the new harness, retighten these bolts in. It's really not difficult. I'm still not done, but I believe like I am on the downhill of this project, and I see blue sky. I guess the Jeep gods have said that I've passed the test. So let's wrap this up. I'm pretty happy with where and how this is going. So the next step for me is let's remove the glass off the tape, and let's get the glass down onto the regulator. You may need to help the regulator a little bit into the little slots on the glass. You hear that? Click. And a little bit of manipulation, and it looks like I can get my bolts in now. I'm happy about that. So let's get my bolts. The bolts for the window regulator, they've got a little blue Loctite on them. So I'm probably going to stand in front of the camera here as I do this. But gonna have to manipulate the glass a little bit to get the threads started. These are 10 millimeter. Well, now I know how to replace my door glass should anybody ever decide to break into my truck. This is a work truck. I do work a lot in the city. So far, this truck has been pretty safe. That makes me happy. All right, so our glass is in. Our panel is our regulator. I gotta think of this in a whole different way. This is not just an interior panel; it's the actual regulator, which is wild to me still. So that's all in place. I mean, really, I could go ahead and bolt this together. But what I really need to do now is I need to probably wipe some of these parts down, try and take some of the Moab out of it. Speaking of Moab, Easter Jeep Safari this year was just absolutely outstanding, and I can't wait to go back for next year's Easter Jeep Safari. So I'm totally stoked on it. Can't wait. Really looking forward to it. And should you ever get an opportunity, if you're a Jeep guy or just an off-road guy in general, get your butt to Moab, because man, oh man, is Moab the place to be. All right, so I'm grabbing my door lock cylinder, right? I'm grabbing my T25, right? So door lock cylinder, T25. Let's see if I can get something here. This guy, I'm gonna go ahead and, I wonder if there's an up and a down to it. this is how it goes. There we go. So the upside keyway on the top, I don't know if you can see that, and then the slot on the bottom with the actual cylinder exposed. That seems to match this shape here on the door, so in we go. I mean, really, in we go. Then we come at the hardware from this side, and we tighten her up. Almost tight. I can feel it working its way in. Oh, no! No! That is off. So maybe I have, let me get this out of my hands. Set that down. Pay better attention to this. All right, that's it. That is not going anywhere. So that's one. Here's the door handle itself. So I'm going to show you how this guy goes in. This is the connector, yeah? Actually, 1 second, hold on. I am going to get a little bit of the electric cleaner. So I'm hoping that my problem actually isn't this. I'm hoping that it was the harness, because I just did all that work for the harness. And I hope that that was the case, was that it was the harness, because that was a lot of work to get the harness done. So we got enough room. You pull this guy out and it'll click in, click. And then we go in, rotate. Come on, all the way in. Rotate. Slides in, and then you just push over. I mean, that's it. That's it. And then we have this guy here. This guy comes in, slides in right here. Come on. There we go. Come on. There we go. Let's get you in place. In place. There we go. We appear to be in place. There we go. It helps to kind of open and close this a little bit to close this gap in right here. And then we get our T25 again, T25, and we run in the hardware here on this door. If I can find my... Oh, come on. We're just not getting it here. Why are you not there? Huh. I cannot feel it. Oh no. Oh no. Please don't tell me I gotta take that apart again. Hold on. Take that apart again. I cannot feel the hardware. Is that what fell in the door? I heard something fall in the door. That That may be what fell in the door. Oh no. I can actually see where the hardware comes through to land in this and capture it. Give me just a second. Hold on. All right, I can see the hardware. It's there. It's just this isn't seated all the way. So let's get this in. Yeah. Let's get this component in. All the way over. Okay. And now. There we go. Got it. We got it. No, we don't have it. Almost. I think the same issue as it's the same issue as this. It's difficult to push and tighten at the same time. Nope, we're still pushing it out. All right. So I may have to push the handle assembly from the inside to try and get a better purchase on this. Because this should be in a better spot. Pushing it out, we are. Okay. Something's got to give here. Okay, so I gotta raise the window to be able to get to this. So I gotta connect all of this back in. So that's the next step we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and connect the harness. That goes to the door. This goes here. There we go. And then we gotta kind of connect this all back where it goes. So you can see I'm just kind of plugging these guys back in where they belong. Get that Tessa tape out of the actual electrical connector. Good grief. Poor QC. That's bad QC right there. Okay. Even though there's a QC tag right there. Let's see, where you go. Were you over here? I think you were here. And you were here. And you were here. Get on that foot. here. And you go over here. I believe that's a 30, so let's run that down. I ended up upside down anyways. Interesting. Whatever. It still works. So then this guy has to get connected in there. So we're going to bring the door in. First time on. Alright. Let's get this. Okay. Alright, connected. So now I can take the window up. Let's see. There we go. Windows up. And now maybe I can get at this a little bit better. Yep, I sure can. Okay, so T25, let's kill that. You can hear my dash cam talking to everybody. Wonder how I'm gonna get this. So you're still off. You're still off ever so slightly. Is it? Oh, that was it, I think. No, we're still pushing out. Curious why this is happening. I don't want to have to redo all of this work. That is totally wild. I'm not sure why it's doing this. It shouldn't be doing this. It's just kicking it out. All right, I'm pausing this, try and figure this out. I figured out what the problem was. I got it all taped up and everything. The truth is, I was over tightening. Everything functions. I was just running that bolt in too far. There's probably super low torque setting on that, so I was just running it in too far. So, all right, we got that handled. That took longer than I should have to figure that out. So now we just gotta kind of put the bolts back in it, and work our way around that. The glass is in. I can take the tape off. Yay. All right. What do these guys do? What did I forget now? Oh, no, those are for the door panel. So we got all these that need to go in place. But now that we have the harness clicked in, the door panel doesn't want to move much. So we've got to fiddle with that a little bit here. Oh, almost. There's a key that goes in over here. And I probably shouldn't have clicked these guys in place first, but why are we so hard on here? Oh, I've got the window all the way up, so let's lower the window a little bit and take some of the tension off of this. There we go. That's what I needed to do. So the rig, again, I keep forgetting, this whole thing is a regulator. So having the window all the way up, it was putting too much tension on this panel. This right here is an actual key that goes into the door that helps line it up. So we're gonna run some bolts in and get it all squared away. Oop, just dropped the bolt. By the way, there's another keyway over here. So here and here, that helps line this whole thing up. The truth is, I'm pretty impressed by the engineering on this. If I had known how this whole thing worked in the first place, I would have been done probably within an hour or so of starting this job. So here's a wild one. When I pulled all this apart, there's no bolt in this. You can see that there's never ever been a bolt in this, which is wild. So my door was missing one of these bolts. I'm gonna go dig around in the garage. I bet you I've got one. Give me just a second. Well, I didn't find anything that I actually really liked, truthfully. So, well, we'll just leave it be. I mean, that's how it was when I got it. So let's run these in. So harness is on. We know the window functions. That's fantastic. Yeah, let's get the interior panel back on. I'm gonna clean it real quick before I put it back on. So give me a second for that. All right, now these cables right here, these cables connect in here to these assemblies, right? So you gotta get this, I don't know, whatever you want to call that, into the pawl here. You can see there's a slot on top, and you get it in and rotate, and it's fine. So that's next. This guy right here, this one, is the door latch. So that's the first one we're gonna do. Slide it in, over, and these guys work on, they run through here and here, okay? So first, you gotta get the cable there, and then you gotta click this in place. Then it's just a matter of getting it in and rotated. Alright, so oh, almost. This part is definitely no fun because there's always tension on that rod, and it's really hard to hold and drop into place at the same time. Really difficult to do. There's probably some specialty service tool for this, but I'm not gonna bother with that. Loop. I was going about it wrong. Put the cable in first, stretch the cable out, click it in. That's the way it should go. Okay, that's in place. And again, cable in first. Come on. Cable in first. Rotate into place. And click in. All right, so our door panel is basically done. Now we gotta hang it in here. Hang it in, slide it down, and then we've got to match up our pins into their corresponding homes here. And you just make your way down and click everything into place. So there's a cutout on the panel, on the bottom side of the panel. Oh, I forgot to get these guys out. Let's get those guys out. Those are a T25. When I did the unofficial use only. Oh no, these are smaller than a T25. What are these, a T20? When I did the unofficial use only, this was part of the deal. Those should actually just click in place, truthfully. But over here on the panel, I'm not sure if you can actually see, my big fat head's in the way, but the harness, there's a notch in the panel for the harness to be in place. So let's get you where you need to be. Why are you not? There we go. Go. This one still isn't clicking, and it's harness dropped down out of its guide. So there we go, we're all connected in. We're all connected in. Now here's the real test, right? Here is the real test. We're going to lock the door. Harness worked. That was a lot of work for me to have my proximity sensor back, but it was worth it because we really get used to modern day conveniences, and I mean we really get used to them. It's why automotive manufacturers keep building cars with more and more and more features. I am part of a segment of society that likes to work on vehicles. We enjoy the mental challenge, the physical challenge. We enjoy the grease. We enjoy the smells. We enjoy the sounds of everything that has to do with working on something mechanical, be it a motorcycle or, you know, an ATV, a car, or a truck, or an airplane, a tank, whatever it is. There's something in it that we find real enjoyment and value in, and there's a lot of this nostalgia in our groups of it was simpler back then, it was better back then, and the truth is, yes, it was much simpler, and it was better in the aspect that is because of its simplicity, it was fairly easy to repair. But we also like to get in our new vehicles with all of the features that come with it, all of these modern day conveniences that just make life easier. They literally just make life easier. But there's a lot of complexity in the engineering that makes all that work. So that means that we as gearheads, it takes a lot more work for us to get what could be a simple task. It takes more work to get done. Fitment is far more precise than it used to be. The machining of parts are, some would say, is better. Some would say it's not as good. That's debatable because of manufacturers' life expectancies and the way they engineer that into products now. But for the most part, this was a simple job. It just required some fiddling and some thinking, and those were all on my part because I've never done this before. But I guarantee you, a Jeep dealer tech who's done, you know, dozens of these can do this job in, I don't know, they know all their parts. It's a T25, it's a T30, it's a 10 millimeter, and a body trim tool set and some tape to hold the glass up, and a pick. And that's really all you need to get this job done. It really is all you need to get this job done. So if you've done this quite a few times, man, this could be a simple job, half an hour job to a surface tech. To me, it took me many hours. I would say it took me about 2.5 hours. There was a lot of breaks because nature did not want to cooperate. And there was a time where I was at a standstill because I didn't understand what the next steps were going to be. So with that, not knowing those next steps and trying to figure those out through YouTube University, which is an awesome, fantastic resource, and then also through just kind of fiddling with things. Yeah, I'm happy I got this job done. I wish I did this before Easter Jeep Safari because it's a pain, and it, you know, it's just a pain. I like to leave these in my pocket. Don't even like to take them out of my pocket. I just need them there so that I can be in close proximity to my vehicle so that it will unlock, lock, and start. Again, modern day conveniences. I hope you guys got something from this. I feel like I got something from it. And let me know what I did wrong. If you're a dealer service tech or maybe a door glass technician who's done this stuff a bunch, let me know what I did wrong. Just because I'm constantly curious about things. I constantly want to learn and improve about things. So let me know, please. Yeah, get out there, get dirty, have fun. All right, we're gonna do a little tiny thing here. So some of you will notice, or did notice in the video, as I'm tying up and finishing up, that I forgot to connect the electrical connector that's right back here. And that's for the door lock actuator here. So this switch will function correctly. So when I did connect the latch assembly and the lock assembly up here, I forgot to connect the electrical here. So I came back out and did these two. I pulled this panel off, undid that one, popped the lower portion of the panel off, reconnected, clipped in, pushed the little red safety clip in, popped all those back in, put these two screws in, that screw, that clip. And it only took me about 2 minutes to do. So those of you that caught it, good job. Otherwise, go get dirty. Have some fun.